Welcome to a series of videos developed by the Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative to support schools and districts in implementing the Perpetual Data Analysis System. The Perpetual Data Analysis System, which we refer to as PDAS, is a well-defined set of principles, procedures, and tools that help guide schools and districts as they continually collect, analyze, communicate, and use multiple measures of data to improve every aspect of school and district decision-making. Implementing the PDAS will assure continuous improvement of teaching and learning. It is a straightforward approach to school improvement that, when implemented with fidelity, promotes school and district capacity to collect and analyze multiple sources of data that inform quality decision-making. A discrete set of interacting and interdependent component parts comprise the system and are designed to promote internal capacity building and provide sustainability that translates into higher levels of teaching and learning. The PDAS unfolds gradually. It does not have a predetermined completion date. The foundational principles of the PDAS support the compelling belief that improvement is not something that starts and stops, but it requires a strong commitment to an ongoing process of learning, self-reflection, adaptation, and growth. Implementers of PDAS will quickly recognize an array of small incremental changes that occur daily and in ways that are cumulative over time. These sustained changes affect multiple dimensions of the school and school system and perpetuate the continuous cycle of growth. The PDAS Practitioner's Field Guide, pictured here, provides a roadmap to continuous improvement that empowers educators with the knowledge, skills, and expertise needed to improve educational results and sustain improvement over time. With PDAS, shared leadership teams collaboratively develop and refine the tools and skills of their craft as they bring about systematic changes in every aspect of the educational organization. The process provides a framework and improvement cycle that can direct educators through a process of moving the entire school and district forward. Districts and schools start where they are and commit to new levels of understanding, data literacy, and data use for decision making. The Practitioner's Guide provides structures for collaboration and action to improve instruction and assessment with detailed processes for gathering, analyzing, and using data in effective decision making. In summary, PDAS is a well-defined set of principles, procedures, and tools aimed to motivate schools and districts as they continually collect, analyze, communicate, and use multiple measures of data to improve every aspect of school and district decision-making. Implementing the PDAS will assure continuous improvement of teaching and learning. So how is PDAS unique? All school and district staff are active members of appropriate data teams who become data literate and routinely use and share data for decision-making. Multiple forms and sources of data are collected, disaggregated, and aggregated for identification of school and district problems of practice. Structures and procedures provide a step-by-step process where information is analyzed systematically within the natural flow of the school year. It is not a one-time data analysis session, and faculties move beyond compliance to true commitment for data use. The PDAS provides a comprehensive approach to data use that creates ownership in the data and guarantees staff commitment. Today's teachers and leaders are constantly confronted with demands for school improvement that dictate real-time decisions that are based on accurate, reliable, and timely data. With the right structures and supports in place, educators can use data effectively to develop and foster a culture in which all stakeholders understand, apply, and manage data as part of a system to support and improve outcomes for students, staff, and schools. This approach to school improvement has the power and potential to transform learning cultures. Note that the PDAS framework has distinct phases of events that guide school staff to rethink how they currently do business. Applying the framework to data analysis sparks conversations about the persistent gap between available evidence and current practice in school improvement and reinforces the challenge of finding effective solutions. The PDAS framework is a model for change that includes a 6-phase process used to test and promote change in schools focused on continuous quality improvement. The framework can be further broken out in 3 simple actions. 1. Understanding where we currently are. 2, deciding where we want to be, and 3, developing and implementing a plan to get where we want to be. The PDAS framework requires inquiry, reflection, and collaboration at a much earlier stage than the traditional planning phase. In the initial phase of the PDAS framework, staff are challenged to use data findings to understand their current thinking about school success. It is only with a clear vision of where we are that the staff can visualize where they want to be. Once a common vision has been achieved, a comprehensive plan is developed, implemented, evaluated, and improved. Let's take a deeper look at each of the phases of the PDAS system. Phase 1, understand, is really about using data to understand where our school is now and how we got there. This first step challenges staff current paradigms of how we see the problem and how we interpret the school's current performance. The gap between where staff perceive they are and where the data says they are will lead to a true understanding about how the school is currently performing. Phase 2, visualize, is about clarifying where we want to go with respect to student outcomes. Stephen Covey's Habit 2 is based on imagination, the ability to envision in your mind what is not yet a physical reality. This is the principle that all things have two creations. The first creation is the mental creation. This is what happens in Phase 2 of the PDAS framework. In Phase 1, the staff understand the current situation, and in Step 2, they visualize where they want their school to be. Phase 3 is the bridge. This is the physical creation, a plan to get from where we are to where we want to be. The physical creation follows the mental creation, just as a builder follows a blueprint. This step is the actual plan, the bridge that connects where we are with where we visualize we can be. We begin with the end in mind. In Phase 4, implement. This is the discipline of the execution, applying the process and structures to take us where we want to go. During the implementation process, the staff develop and apply strategies that focus on goals to be reached and activities to be completed. Each individual staff member understands their role and the timelines for completion, and all staff know what the end result should be and what the plan is intended to accomplish. In Phase 5, evaluate. Evaluating the parts and the whole on the ongoing basis to know if the parts are effective and aligned with where we want to be. It is critical that the evaluation phase provide clear direction to staff about where they are heading and how they will know if they're making adequate progress in getting to the destination. When considering evaluation of the plan, describe how the improvement goals and objectives are implemented and measured, and consider the extent to which the evaluation focuses on student achievement and outcomes as a result of implementation of the plan. And the last phase, Phase 6, is the improve phase. The PDAS emphasizes ongoing effort to improve products, services, or processes. This ongoing means that the school staff is engaged in a repeating process of creating the vision, gathering data related to the vision, analyzing the data, planning for success, implementing the strategies and action steps outlined in the plan, and gathering data to measure the plan impact. The PDAS Framework for Continuous Improvement Continuum, shown on this slide and found on page 21 of the PDAS Practitioner's Field Guide, is the underpinning of the PDAS process. When a school or district staff chooses to implement PDAS, they will become familiar with the framework as a tool for evaluating the change process. The PDAS Framework for Continuous Improvement Continuum is provided to measure school engagement in and fidelity to the PDAS process. This continuum can also be used as a sort of pre- and post PDAS staff assessment to formatively determine how staff currently engage in data analysis and how that process becomes more rigorous and robust with the use of the PDAS system. Take a few minutes to review the continuum and decide where your school or district would rank on the continuum. The PDAS inquiry cycle, shown on this slide and found on page 25 of the field guide, is a 10-step process shown through the infinity loop. for identifying and investigating a specific school problem. The inquiry cycle represents a school-wide approach that moves collection and analysis of traditional data from whole staff to a targeted data team for investigation of the problem. These findings are then used to inform all phases of the school improvement plan. By engaging in the PDAS, educators are empowered to first transform multiple data sources into critical and key information, and second, translate that information into action in order to improve all aspects of teaching and learning. Educators become data literate as they develop the ability to collect, analyze, communicate, and utilize multiple measures of data. Each of these 10 steps will be explained in more depth in the PDAS video series. The PDAS involves an organized and intentional approach to data collection and analysis that relies on several different team configurations within a 10-step inquiry cycle. Although many teams will be utilized throughout the PDAS process, 3 distinct groups are essential for optimal effectiveness: the entire faculty, small data teams organized around a well-defined problem of practice, and then a carefully selected school improvement team charged with drafting the school improvement plan. This configuration, with overlapping work and team groupings, is shown in this illustration. The flexible team approach visual, seen here and also found on page 23 of the Practitioner Field Guide, is a visual representation of how a flexible team approach works in real time. The concept is portrayed by 3 intersecting circles. The top circle depicts the PDAS starting point and is a crucial phase in the PDAS process because it is here that staff perception of how the school is actually performing is challenged. As school staff begin a new school year, it is only natural that an honest, comprehensive examination of school data should occur. In this whole faculty and staff collaborative work, a major PDAS emphasis will be an in-depth review of data to determine how the school is really performing as opposed to how staff think the school is performing. In order to form an accurate assessment of current condition of the school, several self-assessment tools are provided. This collaborative work takes place in Phase 1 of the PDAS Framework and challenges the staff current perceptions based on actual data findings. It is also in this entire faculty team configuration where school problems of practice are identified. The circle on the right illustrates how small data teams are convened to delve deeply into the problem that was identified in the whole faculty work. Once again, multiple forms of data will provide information about the problem. The circle on the left takes us to another team configuration that illustrates how the data analysis findings come together to inform the school improvement plan. The intersecting of all circles reveals the potential for flexible grouping and regrouping of data teams that are formed to meet specific short-term data study or specified team need. The rationale and work of each data team will be explained in the video series and is found in the Practitioner Field Guide. The outer layer surrounding the 3 data team circles points to the importance of leadership to guide and direct the entire process. Effective leadership is the fuel for progress and organizational change, providing the encouragement and support for staff to move forward with the data analysis for school improvement process. PDAS leadership helps keep teamwork moving and evolving, and the PDAS process pushing onward. The multi-team shared leadership approach maximizes the talent and human capital in staff and empowers stakeholders to be change agents in the continuous school process. The videos in this series will provide in-depth explanations of each of the 10 steps of the PDAS inquiry process. You can find an overview of the inquiry cycle found on page 130 or Appendix 20 of the PDAS Practitioner Field Guide.